Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Kodamawian, and let's get straight to business. So as you can see, I'm wearing my Code and Coffee shirt, which is very cool, and the reason for this is I actually just finished my first podcast. So we had a sponsor who helped us with the hackathon that Code and Coffee did, and he decided to invite me and a member of the team named Charles to be part of his podcast. So we actually just finished, and it was a great conversation regarding the state of AI. What are the pros and cons? Let's talking about ethics and business. How do we see the future of software engineering as a whole? So it was a great discussion, 30 minutes, and we should have it ready, produced and everything, probably in the next 2 weeks because it's a syndicated show and everything. So it was a great opportunity. And it was a fun time. Again, my first podcast. So I'm looking forward to seeing it and to showing it to y'all once it becomes available. And regarding Java and Spring Boot, so this week I've been learning a lot about annotations, and I got into the world of how I can relate different tables. So for instance, in PostgreSQL, you can have a primary key, and then you can pass this key and have a foreign key in another table. And the cool thing has been is JPA is like is an ORM, so I don't necessarily have to write SQL or go to pgadmin in order to get this done. I can do everything with the annotations, like here's the ID, generating the value, and so relating the table, the student entity with the student profile, and doing one-to-many, many-to-one annotations, and one-to-one annotations. So it's been very fun, and then I'm able to showcase this data here with this VS Code extension. So I'm able to see the student ID, which has ID as a primary key, but then you're able to see a foreign key here of student ID. And the reason it's a student ID is because we name it that way here in the join column. And as you can see here, it says student here, and when you map it here, this is how you make this relationship between these two entities. And it's been very fun. And then I was learning about DTOs, which is data transfer objects, and essentially is just a way to pass only required data. And the best way that I can explain this, if you have a student, the student for your school will have a first name, last name, email, social security. So you don't necessarily want to give, let's say, the social security or the address of your student. So what you can do a DTO and just pass, let's say, I only want the client to have access to the first name, last name, and email. And the school still keeps this information, but the client gets only a limited access to what type of data you want to give. And something that I was seeing is that my controllers, which is where you create your routes and stuff, were getting very big. And I'm like, this is kind of messy now. And ironically, the next chapter of this tutorial was services. So what you do is now you create a service and you pass all of the logic from the controller to the service, and you just pass it back. So you can see here, we pass in student service, which contains all of this logic, and we pass it here as student service. We pass it as a method, then we create a constructor, and then we pass it, so on and so forth. So actually, the next requirement, I need to make sure I do the same thing here. But man, it's been a great learning process, and it's just crazy that the more that I learn, as some of you might not know, is that my goal is to finish and expand property management software that I was building with a team, and the backend was with Java and Spring Boot, and I had no idea how to work with it. And as I've been learning, I keep going back to that project, and now things are making sense. Now I know, this is an entity. And this is how it relates to my database in PostgreSQL. So it's been a very cool experience of learning and just getting better. It's taking time, but look, I decided React and Spring Boot are going to be my tech stack. So I'm taking my time before I jump to this project, and I just want to make sure that I cover all my basics. So once I start jumping to that project, I can just keep getting better and get more comfortable. But that's all that I have for you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.